So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at multiplying one-digit numbers and two-digit numbers. And we're going to be using a new method for this. We're going to be using the expanded column method. And this is where we're going to be having to use our knowledge of our times tables, that knowledge of how place value can be used to apply our known times tables to large numbers. And we're going to piece those together using this new expanded model. Now, opening our textbooks, we can see our first problem, and this problem is all relating to our flower salesperson. Question 1 is asking how many flowers have the people bought in total, and I'm asking you this time to be using a number line. This is going to allow you to apply that understanding of repeated addition. So make sure for question 1a, how many flowers have the people bought in total, you're going to use that number line to show you're working out. For question 1b, this is asking use multiplication to work out how many flowers are bought in total. And you're going to be thinking about whether you get the same answer for this. So this time, I want you to think about how you're going to actually use multiplication in order to be able to answer these questions. So I want you to pause the video now, and I want you to focus on those two questions and solve them. So question 1a, using that number line, how many flowers have the people bought in total? And 1b, think about how you can answer that same question using a multiplication number sentence, and think about whether you get that same answer. So now pause the video, go to your textbooks and calculate those answers for me. Excellent work. So now we're going to focus on that first question and look at the methods we're using. How many flowers have the people bought in total? For this one, we're going to be using a number line. So I've cheated a little bit. I've already got a number line ready, but I could have drawn this freehand quite simply, and we could have been looking at the flowers that they've got. So in this instance, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3 people. Each person has got 2 bunches of flowers, and we know that each bunch of flowers contains 10 flowers, and then 3 individual flowers. So what I'm simply going to do now is I'm going to add those together. So I've got my number line. I'm going to add on my 10s first. So nice and simply, plus 20. I'm then going to move on to my next character, plus 20 again, and then my final character, plus 20 again. So straight away I've multiplied this and I've added my 10s together to give 20, 40, 60. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my 1s, those remaining 1s here. And we can see each person is holding 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So we can see that this is going to be my answer of 69. So I've got 2 bunches of flowers with 20, 2 bunches of flowers with 20, 2 bunches of flowers with 20, 3, 3, and 3, to give me a total of 69 flowers. Now my second question was asking me to use multiplication to calculate the same one. So I'm going to think about the number sentence that I'm going to be using for this. So my number sentencing, so my picture shows me I've got 3 people and they've each got 23 flowers. So nice and simply, I've got 3 lots of 23, 3 times 23. Now I'm going to use my place value grid to help me work this out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my first character. And I'm simply going to draw their 23. So that's 2 10s and 1, 2, 3 1s. My second person has 2 10s, 1, 2, 3 1s. My third person, 2 10s and 1, 2, 3 1s. And this is where I start reaching into that world of the expanded model. So here we can see the problem a little bit more clearly. We've got our 3 characters, we've got our 23 flowers, and now we're going to be working out this problem together. So I'm going to start off with my 1s. I always start off with my 1s simply because it's the smallest value when I'm adding things. And in this case, multiplication is repeated addition to allow me to be able to do that. So I've got 3 times 3. 3 times 3 1s. And if I look at my 10s, I've got 3 times 2 10s, so on this we can see that I've got it slightly more clear for you. 3 people, each person's got 23 flowers, which is made up for my base 10. And I'm going to start with my 1s. When I'm getting numbers that grow in size, I always start with the smallest value to allow me to do that regrouping later on in the sequence. So on this case, I have my 3 lots of 3. And then I have, in this section, my 3 lots of 2 10s or 20. So this allows me to use all those strategies I've looked at previously. So 3 times 3, nice and simply, gives me an answer of 9. 3 times 2 gives me an answer of 6. 3 times 2 10s gives me an answer of 6 10s. So 3 times 20 gives me an answer of 60. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add these together. 60 add 9 to give me an answer of 69. So let's look at question 1, think together again. So looking at question 1, think together, we're seeing that we've got 4 characters and they've each got 1 bunch of flowers and 2 individual flowers to give us 12. So 4 people, each person's got 12. How many flowers are there in total? So in this case, we've partitioned that number 12 into its 1s and 10s. So we can see that here we've got our 2 1s and here we've got our 1 10. Again, on this picture, we can see that we've got our 1s and we've got our 10s. So we've partitioned those numbers. So we've got 4 lots of 2. So how much is that going to be? Then we move on, we've got 4 lots of 1 10. How many is that going to be? And then our answer to our 4 times 2 and our 4 times 10, add them together, and that's what will give us our total amount of flowers. So if we look at this, we're going to look at starting with our 1s. What are the 2 numbers that I'm going to need to turn into this multiplication number sentence? And then once again, if we're thinking of this, what are the 2 numbers, remembering that 1 is going to be a multiple of 10, will I have for this? And adding those 2 together will give me the answer. So I want you to pause the video now, give that a go, then we're going to go through the answer before I let you free on question 2, and then moving on to your independent activity in your workbook. So now you've done that yourself, let's just go over this to really solidify this method. So I've got 4 times 2 1s. So 4 lots of 2 1s, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's going to give me 8 1s. So 4 times 2 must equal 8. I'm actually going to put that down straight away. 4 times 1 10, or 4 times 1, is going to give me 4. So 4 times 1 10 is going to give me 4 10s. 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s. 4 times 10 is going to give me an answer of 40. And I can nice and simply write my 40 in there to give me 40 plus 8 to give me an answer of 48. So 4 times 12 is 48. Now let's see whether this same answer will get from this method. So here I have 4 lots of 2, and here I've got 4 lots of 10. And we're going to be adding the answers together. So 4 times 2 is going to give me an answer of 8. 4 times 10 is going to give me an answer of 40, to give me a total answer of 4 times 12 equals 48. Now my recommendation for you for question 2 would be keeping this up on the screen just for a moment, just to make sure you're following this method. Once you've managed to get through question 2, you're going to feel a little bit more confident with this new strategy and be able to start flying with it, which will move you on to the challenge question 3 in the textbook before you move on to those independent activities. On this one, do not worry about taking your time. We're learning the strategy, and by going through each step individually, by talking yourself through it, that's where you'll get faster and faster. And I assure you that this next lesson, when we look at this again, the third lesson when we look at this again, you'll get faster and you'll feel more confident each time. So really take your time on this. Be looking back at this video, refer to it whenever you want, because the most important thing in this is knowing the strategy. The answers come secondary today. I don't mind if every single answer is wrong, as long as that strategy is being followed and you can see the methodology for it. That would mean if you did make a mistake with the answer, we could look back to that working out and instantly go, that's where the problem arose. So concentrate on this one, follow that strategy, and I look forward to seeing your work when it's complete.